Sounds like a very
It's
interesting
really
place.
fun. Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool.
Alrighty. The time is 6:31, and with us this evening is Craig Schulte, Mike Roth, Michael Gary, myself, Bill Lovis, Ben Peters, Patrick Knight, Kim Van Beck, and Chris Hood, our attorney. All right. Oh, we are missing John.
John is, Hollinger's my middle name, so it's John Hollinger Petters.
A different John, John.
Sorry.
Oh,
Probably happens all the time.
Okay. It's all right, thank you.
Yeah, we have another John.
Yeah, all right, I just realized that looking down,
Yeah.
we're missing one. Okay, so with that, we will move on to open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum this evening?
Hello,
Yes?
John Petters. I would like to say something.
Sure.
Yeah, and first of all, thanks for letting me do this with the Google Meet. I've been under the weather like a lot of people lately, and it saved me like 10 hours of driving, so I really appreciate it. So the reason why I'm here is when we presented Yorkburg, August and early September, and I think it was, there were a number of questions that I know that you had, and we've been looking at a lot of those. And I'm just here to request that we could maybe set up a way that we could have a work session or something to talk about kind of what we found out from the big issues that I understand were 3rd Street and then also 6th and 7th Avenue, and, would people be interested in or want water and sewer up there, as opposed to us, going up the middle. And so we've talked to most of the people. We've reached out to everybody a couple times and gotten some feedback back and interest, and we kind of like to tell you, about that. I mean, and our goal is we would like to get water and sewer put on our property so that we can build some houses and sell them. So I guess what we're not looking at doing a PUD like we did before. We're not looking at any variances. We'll be looking at just. So I mean, I'd like to be able to spend some time looking at it, and because it's a big issue for your plans for water and sewer going forward and how to make that all work.
All right, well, thank you. And it's reinforcing that certainly remote works well for us, and it's certainly more convenient for you and all the way around, so that was no problem at all. And
Lots of great progress happening in the building. Other floorings going in, carpet and vinyl tile.
And it looked like the windows.
Doors and windows are mostly in.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the front doors for the liquor store, but that could be any day now that those arrive. We're getting close, yeah, and it's good. And if anybody wants to go take a look, just let me know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or just stop by and say hi to John.
yeah, very good, all right. And so with that, then we'll move to the consent agenda. Any questions about that, in particular the meeting minutes, bills, and the annual wage increase for our department heads or non-union personnel?
I didn't. I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, is there a second with that?
I'll second.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? All right, Craig?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye?
Hi.
Aye.
Bill and Ben Peters, aye. Okay.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving
are.
right along. Next up is Planning Commission Report, Resolution 2025-01. How about that? First of the year.
First of the year.
Nora
Very exciting.
Scogan, final plat.
Final plat. Yeah, back to you again. Yeah, came back to us in planning and zoning land. You guys have seen this as well. They basically did all the things we asked them to do and did all the approvals. They've signed an agreement as well. So it seems like all the ducks are in a row.
Okay.
It seemed like there's not much, I mean, we did talk about it, but there wasn't a lot to discuss.
Okay, so there weren't any questions or,
Nothing.
anything?
I mean, we had our own discussion about,
Mhm.
like, well, you were briefly there, were you? Just, no?
Oh, you mean I
Yeah.
thought this came through, this has not been through the planning, this piece
Yeah,
is
this
not-
has been through the plan.
It has.
But I
yes.
don't mean like just at your last meeting.
Just at their last meeting.
Just-
Oh, okay, so which I wasn't there, so
No.
was there anything from that?
No, we were just having more discussions about, like, roads and how that's gonna look, and that kind of goes
Okay.
into Mr. Petters and all that, so, yeah,
All right,
good discussion there, but no.
okay, but not on this, I mean, if there was something else you might want us to know about or
Anything more
whatever, or
about it?
things you thought
I don't
through.
know, there wasn't, not
for this
related to
specifically.
this. It was more along it was a conversation prior to the meeting that I think mostly we were talking just about private roads, the use, potential pitfalls, et cetera, right?
Bigger
Yeah,
concept,
yeah.
but this particular.
But not this
yeah,
particular one.
Okay,
Yeah.
In this case, everything that they presented was what you've already looked at and approved.
Exactly.
all right. Would anyone like to make a motion for resolution? I better go back. I have it right here. Resolution
Okay.
2025-01, Norris Scogan final plat.
I will make that motion to approve.
All right, second.
I'll second.
Any further questions or discussion? All right, Ben?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Michael, sorry.
That's-
Craig?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, that resolution 2025-01 Norris Scogan final plat passes with unanimously. All right, moving on to designating our official.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much, the whole city council. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. We're looking forward to the project.
Yep.
Certainly.
Yep, me too. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you. All right, the Cook County News Herald, making a bid once again to be our official newspaper for all of our official postings, calendaring and whatnot. And of course, I'm assuming they were our only one, right?
They were our only one. I'm not sure anyone else is even qualified to do it.
Do they have to be, yeah, I was wondering about that with, like, North Shore
Weekly,
Journal. I mean,
right?
I
They have to be a
suppose.
weekly and,
And they have to have a certain publication
Oh.
coverage. So I don't think there's other options, but no one else has ever been interested in this. Well, not since we've had two newspapers anyway.
Okay.
All right. All right. Would anyone like to make a motion then to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to designate the official newspaper, the Cook County News Herald.
A second for
I'll
that,
second.
please? Ben?
second.
All right. Any other further discussion or questions? All right. Craig?
Yes.
I'm sorry, take a vote. Michael?
Aye.
Aye. Bill?
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, the Cook County News Herald is once again our official newspaper. Next, we move on to our city depositories, for which we have the Grand Marais State Bank, North Shore Federal Credit Union, Security State Bank, League of Minnesota Cities, their 4M Fund, and then RBC as well. Anyone like to make a motion for that?
I would make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
I'll second it.
Oh, go ahead, Craig.
All right.
Go ahead. I'll second, thank
We
you.
got that from Craig. Any further questions, discussion? All right, I'll take a vote. Ben?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Aye. Michael?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And with that, we have those, we have Grand Marais State Bank, North Shore Federal Credit Union, Security State Bank, League of Minnesota Cities, 4M Fund, and RBC as our official city depositories. Thank you. Ooh, and next up, our 2025 board appointments and commissions. Just,
Yeah.
well, I'll read them, but just, we're going to start with the EDA, and just a heads up, I did get an email today from our new EDA director that there is an applicant,
Yeah.
and so we'll probably have something tomorrow. The next EDA first board meeting of the year, however, is the day before our next city council meeting, so we won't have that. If that goes fine with all of us, it will be the next meeting before they're official. But we'll look at that then for our next meeting, provided all that comes through as we believe it will.
Yeah.
So there we go. So it's not like we have no applicants.
Okay, good.
And moving forward then to the library board, we have an incumbent.
Yeah, Nancy Jaguar.
Can you say your last name for me?
Jaguar, I think it is.
Okay, I didn't want to say
I had a
that.
friend who had the same last name, but it was Geiger.
Okay, yeah, that's why I didn't want to
I think
say
she
that.
says Jaguar.
Excuse me. Okay. Park Board, Matthew Brown and Bob Nessheim. And these are all incumbents. Planning Commission, Brandon Batchelor. And PUC, we have Bill Hanson. So all the rest are incumbents. And there were no other applicants then,
No
I
other
take it, right?
applicants.
Just to clarify that. What am I hearing? Oh, in the
Vacuum.
hallway. Yes, okay. Not technology.
No.
Can we do this all, should we do
As
the
a slate?
acting mayor too?
Yeah,
Can
we can do that,
too,
right?
Altogether? Or
I
do we have
swear
to
we did that
separate
before, right?
Up to you.
Oh,
Well, let's do oh, wait a minute, council appointments, never mind. Okay, let's do these first for our citizen board appointments.
okay.
Oh, wait a sec, no, I'm in on this. Let's do this at the end. We'll have all this discussion and then does that sound okay? So then we don't have to do this 3 times.
Do
It
what?
might be better to just do
Separate.
this one because you can describe it as presented, whereas the next one you might have to
Oh, got it.
describe differently.
Oh, okay.
No problem. Very good. That sounds fine. So, would anyone like to make a motion for the appointment of the incumbents for the Library Board, Park Board, Planning Commission, and Public Utilities Commission, citizen appointments for those boards?
So moved.
And a second on that?
A second.
All right. Any further questions, discussions? All right. Craig?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, we unanimously have filled all of our boards except for the EDA board position, but there is possibilities there. Next up, I see, I didn't catch that earlier, that you had that down there. Our city appointments.
Oh. Oh, the
For all of
acting mayor.
us.
Yes, for
Yes.
all of yous.
For our various responsibilities. First of all,
Where is that?
I don't think we have
I'm
the,
afraid it's a link in the
Oh.
agenda to a spreadsheet.
I have it in front of me. Do you
Okay.
have it, Patrick?
I can
I have
put
it.
on the screen.
Or at least I have one that I created earlier this year
Mm-hmm.
that had like who their contacts were and how often they met to help people decide.
Yeah, I believe we're looking at the
You're
same
the same one?
spreadsheet, except for the one that we've got linked to the agenda does not have the council members who are assigned.
Oh,
We want to make sure that you tell us who you want them to be. But if we need to be
Yeah.
reminded of who they are, we can look back at that too.
I got that too.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, so Patrick's gonna pull it up, right?
Yeah, give me a minute here.
No problem, just want to make sure, like, you do whatever you need to do. The other thing I wanted to also have us take a look at quickly, are there any of these boards for which we don't feel we need to be at the table regularly? Or are there any others that you think we need to be at the table on that we are not? And I'll wait, of course, and do we want to do any swapping at all as well on any of these?
Well, I know that there were some, once it's up there, that
Yeah.
they've just that I have on my list that have just, nothing has happened in 2 years. Or maybe not that long, but in quite a while, and so I'm not sure they should still be on there. I mean, I could reach out to them to see, like, are you still wanting to do this? Because you guys have not contacted us.
Yeah.
But myself personally, I would love to keep going with library and planning and zoning for sure, and other things I'm more flexible, but I'd like to do those two personally.
Okay. Aha,
Good.
there
Yay.
you go. All
Um,
right.
Oh my gosh, that's small. I didn't bring my glasses.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I don't know if you can see it on your screens there.
I'm trying
Can you zoom
to.
in a little bit?
Yeah. See?
There we go.
Hey, how come whenever I do this, like, I never get this to light up?
You have to use a light touch
On
on that button.
this one?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Maybe I accidentally.
Maybe it's not plugged in.
If you can-
It was
Oh, there it
beeping
went finally.
a second ago, so.
Is it, yeah, it's, okay, now it fired up, thank you. Okay, so
Okay.
and I can,
So, but it doesn't have it doesn't have us. You said it doesn't have us.
It does
but
not.
you-
yeah, mine does, because that's
It's
just the
really
one
a
I.
test is what it is.
This is what I created last year, but that makes
Yeah.
sense to just block it out.
Yeah.
Can you, okay, you got it, yep, so
I
you.
can zoom in again if needed.
So are there any, and well, you might as well start, Michael. Are there
Oh.
any you wonder if we should be going to anymore?
Like I'm trying to think which ones I was on that just never called me. Or I emailed and then they were like, yeah, we'll let you know, and never heard from them. But I'm not saying it. Can we scroll down? Is there more that,
I think that's
was that
pretty
it?
much it.
Oh, okay. So they're not even really on there.
Perhaps we already cleaned them off.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, so the only one we're not seeing right now is the personnel committee and the tree board.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, mine must not be alphabetized.
Yeah, oh, and I forgot
That's
about the
the problem.
ARDC. Yeah, I'd like to keep going with my guys, for sure. I mean, I would, if somebody wanted less or whatever, I could
Planning.
pick something up, but.
And why? Is the whiteboard meeting now finally?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
good,
we're
good.
meeting, for
Mhm.
sure.
Wonderful.
And now we're more what we should be,
Mhm.
because they had kind of had us, it was weird.
Okay.
But now we're a proper board.
Okay. Well, then, anyone else see any of their current assignments as something that maybe we don't need to be at the table for? We have not met really very often, but would you have any interest in the local emergency preparedness group? Or not really? They haven't met much. Okay.
Yeah, well, I could.
Okay. I mean, they're supposed to meet like bi-monthly, but they haven't really, I don't know. Is that anything that you have any personal like experience about, or you know what I mean? Like,
I hear talk about it, being in maintenance at the hospital. I mean, that's something that we discuss. It's part of our
Yeah, I
planning.
bet.
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
you might have more background.
But I haven't seen a lot of action up there either. I think they're trying to make it more than it has been.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in
Because
this,
it's quite important.
Mhm.
well, it is, and so this is with Michael Keyport, and I believe Grace Grenager's been involved with it.
Mhm.
It's certainly been a lot more active when forest fires were an issue,
Right.
and then when we had a pandemic. There was a lot of energy
Right,
in this
right.
group. And it comes and goes. There's always a background of planning and working,
Mhm.
keeping a plan up to date and talking about trainings and such.
I mean, I took the the training online classes or whatever, but I just wondered if maybe you had a better background in something like this to contribute. I don't know. You want to think about it?
No, I would jump in if you want to do that.
Okay, I'm going to type your name in right now. Okay. Thank you. All right, Ben?
Yeah, no, I like where I'm at. Again, I could pick up something if somebody felt overwhelmed or didn't. a change of passion or something, I could pick up I don't have to, but I could.
Okay. Would anyone, I mean, I know you were doing this before, but it didn't fit with your schedule, but the Downtown Business Coalition?
That's a scheduling thing for me.
Thing for you,
It
okay.
really was, and it shouldn't be, but it
It
always
is.
turned out to be, yes.
Okay, all right. I can do that. I was just trying to find something else. And
yeah.
I really want a council person there, just because that's a really important group. An important group for us to be hearing from,
Yeah.
and the council hearing from. So if anyone else, if it fits or has interest, but, it is during the
During the
work day.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's where we run into problems, I know, with a lot of our
Yeah.
things, where the county, it's more of a job, and they go to they have these
Yeah.
meetings in there. So, all right, well, I'll stay with it unless, someone raises their head. But everything else then.
Unless somebody wants to wrest it from your hands.
So, I'm just kind of looking through, making sure then. So otherwise, are we okay then?
So I think the only thing left is the mayor, the backup mayor.
The acting mayor.
Yeah.
Acting mayor.
Okay. Right now, that is Craig. Are you still interested in that, Craig?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but if you guys think because of meetings that I'm not in person in, if it becomes an issue, then that's fine. If somebody else wants to do it, otherwise I'm fine with it. Zooming seems to work okay. I was going to try to be home this week, but I had trouble getting scheduling with Lynn getting moved, so it didn't work out. So I'm planning another, hopefully for the next meeting to be in Grand Marais that week. But yeah, I just know that sometimes you have to come into the office and, like, if I got to sign checks or do something like that, then that would be an issue where somebody else would have to do that if you're not available. That doesn't happen a lot, I know, but
Yeah.
it's whatever, however you feel or however Mike feels, is fine with me.
Okay.
And I don't think there's been any issues at all, Craig, with your travel schedule. I think you've done a great job of meeting all of our needs, so. And
Okay.
it is.
Well, I appreciate that.
The only issue is the signature part, but it hasn't come up in a few years, so I guess I'm really not worried about it. We've got enough people
Right.
that can sign things, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can do electronic signatures on things, and. so
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
think it's an
Oh,
issue.
yeah.
That, I mean, obviously not the checks, but everything else. So that pretty much means if it's electronic, I can still get to it too. But, yeah. And then, like you said,
Okay.
checks is pretty uncommon, and there's flexibility as, within a day or, whatever. It's not like being in a meeting,
Yeah.
so. Or does anyone have a interest in being acting mayor, or? All right, let's see, I think then we'll go with that, but we'll put that part of our final piece, right? What am I missing here? Acting mayor was the last
That's the
piece to
final
that.
piece. So, I mean, you didn't change anything with the council appointments. I don't think there's any action required. Be nice to do the
No.
acting mayor with a motion.
Okay.
Okay, yep, yeah,
I would put a motion to support Craig Schulte as acting mayor.
second for that?
I'd second that.
All right, any further questions, discussion? All right, Ben,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye?
Craig?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, Craig is once again acting mayor, and we have each of our assignments, and thank you, Bill, for taking on the other piece, I appreciate it. And so we're all set for the coming year on all of that. Next up is the Gitche-Gammy Trail Plowing Agreement with the DNR.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Mike?
Well, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And the DNR asked us to have this agreement.
Okay,
So I think, absolutely, let's have this agreement.
okay.
And
Because
this
we were just
agreement,
doing it before.
it doesn't require us to do this work, it just allows us to do this work.
Hmm.
And it's just because this piece of the trail was actually constructed by the DNR in MnDOT's right-of-way, and so the DNR has some responsibilities over it. Whereas when
Okay.
you go east of 8th Avenue, that trail was constructed by the city in MnDOT's right-of-way, and so we already have an agreement with MnDOT to deal with the trail east of 8th Avenue. West of 8th Avenue, this is what we're doing. We started plowing it. It was part of that kind of conversation back and forth about where do snowmobiles belong
Yeah.
versus people, and what do we want to plow, try to get clean versus use for other things. And this piece was, we didn't plow it for a long time, and then a lot of folks said, well, we want to try to use this, we're trying to use this, and there wasn't any conflicts with that use, so we started plowing it, and it's been, I think it's just fine for us to do that. It is, a little piece of this is not in the city limits. So as we cross the Putt and Pets, for instance, that's not the city limits, and then you back to the Forest Service and it is. And our original stopping point was the end of that trail section where there's a crossing over to County Road 13. And because the rest of that trail didn't exist before that, right? And now that that new trail is out there, we don't plow any of that. But the ending point of where we do plow is kind of arbitrary now. I think we could probably just stop at the Forest Service parking lot and it would be fine.
So I will just bring up for when I was originally working with the Active Living Steering Group until I wasn't, there have been requests that we continue to plow now because that trail goes farther so that there's more walking pieces. And this is also an opportunity to clarify, unless the council would like to consider plowing farther, that this will be officially where we end our plowing.
I see.
So I think it would be appropriate to have some confirmation or conversation on that as part of this.
About where we're gonna end our
At this-
plowing.
Yeah. No, okay, so this is the
Where does it-
DNR, just, oh, sorry, go ahead, Craig.
It's okay, where's the official end of the city limits? Is it at, exactly? I can't remember, Mike, is it at,
Yeah.
is it,
The Forest Service is in the city limits, but
Yeah.
the Pets is not in the city limits. So it kind of, the Forest Service
Okay.
kind of curls around it and then comes back and touches the highway.
yeah,
So on the north side of the
Okay.
highway, it doesn't go that far west. On the south side of the highway, it goes all the way to the end of the
It
Forest
does.
Service property.
Okay.
okay,
But then we are done with city limits, right?
At that point.
At that
Yeah,
point.
and the way that
Okay.
this agreement is drawn up, and that this is just a draft, we could change it if we wanted to, but the image that they included in it actually has
Yep.
us ending at the first driveway to the Forest Service property.
Okay.
Okay.
yep, yep.
And
And you're saying that folks in active living wanted it to go to 13 there?
well, because now they've, it's, the bike trails basically become a walking path in the wintertime.
Right.
Yeah, I think they probably would have been happy
Right.
to go all the way to Cutface on this, which I don't
Right,
think we want.
then
to
they,
do.
then they need to make a plea to the DNR or whoever is
Yeah,
maintains a trail, because, in a winter where there's not a lot of snow, it's great, everybody's enjoying it, but if we had 5 feet of snow on the ground in town, that's a lot of extra work for us to plow another 3 or 4 blocks, and then, where do you draw the line, where do you stop?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to stop somewhere, Do you stop at, do you stop at the storage units there, or do you go a little bit further and stop? I
The-
mean,
The other piece, when I spoke with the DNR the other year about this, they don't want it plowed because of the nature of the trail and the materials. It's not meant for that
Oh.
kind of piece. There wasn't a lot
I
of
didn't know
about
interest in that either.
right,
But because it has
You can
been.
ski it. They can ski on it if they want, you know.
Well, I wouldn't, with the driveways, I think it's just not very useful. But also, with the driveways, if we want to talk about doing anything to it, it seems like someone ought to have a conversation with a lot more property owners before we start making decisions about that. And I don't think that's our role to do for folks outside the city limits.
Right.
Right.
Them plowing across driveways.
Yeah, it's way beyond our piece, but I wanted to have a conversation, make sure we all understood that,
Okay.
and that we are in agreement or not, or whatever, you know, about this with
Yeah.
it, so, okay. And so with that, we just need a roll call, right?
Yeah. And make a motion to approve the agreement.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
I'll second. Or go ahead, Ben.
Any further questions or comments, discussion? All right, Craig?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Aye, and with that unanimously, we have approved the snowplow agreement with the DNR. So we'll continue to the first driveway of the forestry building. All right. Okay, now we're on to council and staff reports. Craig?
I do not have one. We didn't have a park board meeting Monday, so it's put off till next month.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
Yes. So we did have, I think that was after our meeting, was our library meeting? I think, or maybe I reported on it last time, I can't recall now. It's been a long time. But we did have a library meeting. We had further discussions about reviewing the library director and how that will, how we're going to approach it, what's our responsibility, what's, you know, the city, Mike's responsibility, that kind of thing. So trying to make sure she gets good and proper guidance from us in our area and making, just helping her in
That
that.
it ties with the process.
Yeah, so we're not overlapping, we're not, getting into things that aren't our business.
It was useful you brought that up, too. It really spurred a bigger conversation about a missing piece in our relatively new review process for department heads, because there are some that have relationships with boards, and we want that board to have a role in it. So it's good.
So we added that in of our little piece, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so
All right.
That was the bulk of it, so yeah.
Okay. Bill?
I have nothing.
Okay.
We do have an upcoming tree board meeting, first
Oh, that's right.
one of the year, 23rd.
Mm-hmm. What's the time on that? Do you remember off the top of your head? I did see the invite. I
Well,
should
it's like
just-
2 o'clock or something
Okay, all right.
on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Nope, nothing. Well, planning and zoning, but we've already talked about that. Meaning North House is having a board retreat Friday afternoon, so that'll be fun. We'll go to do that.
Yeah.
And so I can report back on that next meeting. And I missed the personnel meeting today, so.
That's right, I was about to say we had nothing, but we did have a personnel. Thank you.
There was that.
Yeah, we did have a personnel committee meeting this morning. We're just still working primarily on things related to the end review process. And in February, we're just going to review our process and make tweaks based on people's comments and feedbacks and just keep working on doing this better. I think I'm okay to say that this went better than last year.
Yeah, quite a bit smoother.
So I think it's working along, and we're learning as we go, but we want to, get feedback, and you gave some and whatever, so we've got things to do that way. And I think that's kind of it from that. I was going to ask you, Mike, I missed the cannabis meeting,
Yep,
so
I
how
have
did
an
that
update
go?
for that.
Yeah,
So we
okay.
had 2 meetings. There, on Monday, a small group of us met to start talking about how to do the startup inspections and annual inspections, age verification, all those sorts of things. So lots of folks from the county sheriff's office and myself. It was a good meeting. So everybody walked away with a to-do list. They're starting to prepare some educational materials, with the idea that the first time through, we're not looking to write tickets. We're trying to make sure that people are aware of their responsibilities and get educated. We also just talked about the fact that if we do find violations, we're required to report them to the state, so everything has to be done in a manner that is still defensible legally, and that we want the law enforcement to be involved in it. Pat talked about previous efforts that the county has done doing age verification here for tobacco in particular, but I know we've also done them for alcohol in the past. And so we're looking at also incorporating tobacco and alcohol into this conversation for that process. And then the next day we had our regular cannabis committee meeting and set some priorities for 2025. The first priority is to make sure we have cannabis events incorporated into the city and the county's ordinance, which was not done the first time through. So we have a small group that's going to be working on that I'm going to be spearheading, and we're going to look around. We've already seen some other places that have done this and the issues that they brought up, so our goal is that before the next cannabis meeting, which is in early March, we will have a description, a draft, a list of bullet points of things that we think need to be covered, and maybe some suggestions on how we would do that. Let the cannabis committee review that, make any changes to it, and then bring it to the boards for official ordinance review process.
Okay. I did see those notes, and I was wondering, or minutes, and I was just wondering, in there, I thought our ordinance was passed.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's been published yet.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, but all the work is done on it. It will be in
Okay.
effect soon.
And publishing is what? Why is that?
It shows up in the newspaper is all.
Okay.
So it's just a scheduling issue with holidays and illnesses and things.
So, but it's in force right now?
No,
It's not until that happens?
once it's in the newspaper, it is.
Okay. Very good.
We don't have a lot of hope. That was also in the minutes, I think, about the state coming through on their end of the bargain here anytime soon.
No.
As a matter of fact, one of the things that I noticed, maybe it was Monday in the news, was that the director is leaving the Office of Cannabis Management.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants a job, I think it'd be kind of fun, but clearly it's a mess, and
They're putting in their current legal counsel as their interim.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but the one other additional item we've just had a chance to talk about briefly, and it came actually from our chamber, and it's up to us, and it's in that guidance for local government, there are no rules around, so if we get multiple applicants for our one opening, we have to create our own process about how we decide who that person or
Right.
business, I should say, is.
Yeah.
So, and if you read that, it's like, well, it can be a lottery too if you want, and,
No.
Right. So, they list some other things, but like including, which, we've been asking now for some time, and it's been on our list, get these event things set up, but, they'll tell you, work with your attorney to do this. But that is another piece of it, or we've let ourselves wide open. So we have to work on that. And that's a city thing for me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's for us to decide how we want that process to go.
Right, and that was where I was hoping we could exert a little more control and say like, okay, well, we have 3 different applicants, and maybe that's where we can say like, hey, we're going to prefer somebody who's local.
Yeah, I mean, there's some assumptions built into that the applicants are going to come in a period of time that we control and in a package where we get to review them together, that I don't know how realistic that is.
I know, but I'd still like to have it.
It doesn't mean we can't set up a process
Yes.
and be ready for it, yeah.
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 But because it's not, and I didn't see it indicated that that's something we could expect that rules committee to eventually give guidance on. I don't know.
I don't know if
didn't
we want
see
it. I think we like
Well,
it like
I just mean
this.
so that
Yeah.
means we do need to work with the city attorney and get this done So it
Okay.
will work for us, and we don't find out the hard way that how we set up, so, you know, we're
Great.
gonna get challenged or
yeah.
whatever.
Has anybody else done this yet, Chris, that you're working with?
What about Winona?
Folks that we work with, so, some of them have, a first come, first served basis is primarily it, and it's for the reasons you just stated, Mike. They're not all gonna come in at one time. You're not even gonna touch this until they've got all their ducks in a row with the Office of Cannabis Management.
Yeah.
So they either have to be pre-licensed or have a license before they ever show up at your door before you're gonna do anything with it. And that means they have to have a location, it's gotta meet your zoning,
Yeah.
all of those things have to have occurred first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one piece of it. In terms of the event stuff, we've drafted that too. So, we can give you some examples and you can decide what you want to do.
Sure.
Okay.
For me, a lot of it is just making sure we have a clear application and process sitting out there for anyone to apply for, that they don't get there and they can't go on our website and look and see and fill out their application and know exactly what they have to do and who they have to report what to.
Yeah. And where they can do it and what our rules about it are.
Yep.
Whatever they might be.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, so we
Welcome.
need to get that rolling. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else either.
Great.
Yeah, I was like, Craig, we could go home. All right.
It's not a bad thing.
Yes. So, thanks, everyone. I think with that, we're done for the evening.
Yay.
Did we do any,
Good work.
serious time? 7:15,
Very.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Covered a lot.
Mike, that electronic time card.
It's on the consent agenda, all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy New Year and a good night, everybody.
Yep.
Thank
Happy
you,
New
same
Year.
to you.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you,
Good
Craig.
night.
Yep.